Yes, my dear students of 10th standard. Nowadays we are discussing the answer for the evaluation questions in the carbon and its compounds. Now we are going to revise the detailed long answer question. Third question, how is ethanol manufactured from sugarcane? On page number 171 of your text science book, Roman letter 6, long answer question, how is ethanol manufactured from sugarcane? So important questions and repeatedly asked in the public examination, and you have to revise. Now we are going to discuss about this answer, and you have to listen carefully and also turn to page number 163 of your science book. So first you have to know what is called ethanol. There are so many small questions are here. What is the structural formula of ethanol? And sometime you will be asked to write the structural formula. And what is the raw material for the manufacture of ethanol? Then what is called molasses, sugar molasses? Then what is the basic principle used for the manufacture of ethanol? The basic principle used for the manufacture of ethanol. Then what is the sugar content of molasses? Then next question, what are the nitrogenous sources added to the yeast? What is called yeast? What is the temperature maintained in the fermentation tank? Then name the enzyme which convert sucrose into glucose and fructose. Also name the enzyme which converts glucose or fructose into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Then what is called wash? What is called wash? Then what is the percentage of alcohol in wash? Then what is meant by rectified spirit, or what is the composition of rectified spirit? Then I will get absolute alcohol from rectified spirit. What is called absolute alcohol or pure alcohol? Next, what is meant by yeast? What is fermentation? So there are so many questions are there in this long answer. The manufacture of ethanol from sugar molasses, there are so many objectives, 2-mark question, short answers are there. So you have to go through thoroughly. First we are going to study, that is what is the functional group of alcohol? Alcohol functional group OH, hydroxyl. When hydroxyl group is there, it is going to be alcohol. Then ethanol is commonly known as alcohol, and all alcoholic beverages and some cough syrups contain ethanol, and the molecular formula is C2H5OH. The molecular formula of ethanol is C2H5OH. Also we can write CH3, CH2OH. That is also the formula. Then I will expand. What is the structural formula? The structural formula is given in the pattern of CH3, CH2OH. CH3, the first carbon bonded with 3 hydrogen, then CH2, second carbon with 2 hydrogen, then hydroxyl, oxygen, hydrogen. CH3, CH2OH is expanded in the form of a structural formula. Then What is the basic principle used in the manufacture of ethanol? It is a fermentation. That is fermentation. What is fermentation? Fermentation is nothing but that is converting complex molecule into simpler molecule. Here it is given. See in the more to know. Fermentation is conversion of complex organic molecules into simpler molecules by the action of enzyme. Fermentation is conversion of complex organic molecules into simpler molecule by the action of enzyme. One example is given, that is curdling of milk. Also here one more answer is given. What is the yeast? Yeast are single-celled microorganism belonging to the class of fungi. Single-celled microorganism belong to class of fungi. The enzymes present in yeast catalyzes many complex organic reactions. So the enzymes present in the yeast like invertase, maltase, zymase, these are the enzymes present in the yeast. So in the manufacture of ethanol, invertase and zymase act upon the sugar molasses and convert into alcohol. So listen, now, so in the manufacture of ethanol, the fermentation is the basic principle. That is the converting complex organic molecule into simpler molecule by the action of enzyme. Then, what is the raw material? That is molasses. What is molasses? Molasses is a dark colored syrupy liquid left after the crystallization of sugar from the concentrated sugarcane juice. This is answer for sugar molasses. Molasses is a dark colored syrupy liquid left after the crystallization of sugar from the concentrated sugarcane juice. Then, what is the percentage of sucrose in the molasses? That is 30% of sucrose is there. 30% of sucrose. And this liquid, this syrupy liquid cannot be separated by crystallization. Unconverted portion of sugar juice which is left behind. So that is collected for the manufacture of ethanol. So the basic principle is fermentation, and sugar molasses is the raw material for the manufacture of ethanol. Molasses is nothing but it is a dark colored syrupy liquid left after the crystallization of sugar from the concentrated sugarcane juice, which contain 30% of sucrose. 30% of sucrose. So you have to write first this. What is the basic principle? What is sugar molasses? And what is the sucrose percentage of sugar molasses? Then there are three steps here. There are four steps. Four steps are here in the manufacture of ethanol. First one, dilution of molasses. The molasses which contain 30% of sucrose is further diluted by the addition of excess of water. So molasses is first diluted with water to bring down the concentration of sugar to about 8 to 10%. So 30% of sugar content is reduced to 8 to 10% by the addition of excess of water. So concentration is decreased. Already you learned what is called a concentration, concentrated solution, dilute solution. So dilute solution contain more solvent, and here solvent is water and solid is sugar molasses. So when we add more solvent, more water, the concentration is decreased. So decreased by the addition of excess of water, and it is bring down to 8 to 10%. So dilution means addition of water to bring down the concentration of sugar molasses into 8 to 10%. Then next see addition of nitrogen sources. See, Molasses usually contain enough nitrogenous matter to act as food for yeast during the fermentation process. So naturally, the sugar cane, which is obtained from the earth, which contain nitrogenous matter in the form of nitrate. The form of nitrate. Let it contain. If suppose the nitrogen content is not sufficient, nitrogen content is very poor, it may be fortified. Externally, we have to add the nitrogen substances in the form of ammonium sulfate or ammonium phosphate. So you have to keep in your mind, usually or naturally, that molasses contain nitrogenous matter, which is food for yeast. What is the purpose of that nitrogen source? Which act as food for yeast. Suppose the nitrogenous matter is content, the percentage is very poor. Externally, the sugar molasses is fortified by the addition of ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphate. You have to keep in your mind these two uh, compound. Ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphates are externally added for the fortification of sugar molasses. Then addition of yeast. Already you know what is called yeast. It is single-celled microorganism which contains enzyme like invertase, maltase, and the zymase. So here the solution obtained in step 2 is collected in large tank, fermentation tank. That is called a fermentation tank, and now the yeast is added. So the solution is collected in the fermentation tank and the yeast is added, and temperature is maintained about 303 Kelvin for few days, for 1 week or 10 days. So first the solution is kept in fermentation tank, yeast is added, temperature is maintained. Temperature is maintained. Three things. Then during this period, the enzyme present in the yeast like invertase, zymase act upon the sugar molasses and convert sucrose into ethanol. So first step, the invertase, the enzyme invertase act upon sugar molasses. The formula for sugar molasses or sugar C12H22O11. C12H22O11 plus water, because in the first step itself we added water, but that it is given for the dilution. So sugar plus water. Now the enzyme invertase act upon this and convert into glucose and fructose. Glucose formula C6H12O6 and fructose also having the same formula 6H12O6. So now the complex organic molecule of sugar molasses is converted into simpler substances like glucose and fructose by the action of enzyme invertase. By the action of enzyme invertase. Sometime will be asked, name the enzyme which converts sugar molasses into glucose and fructose. That is invertase. So first invertase act upon sugar molasses to convert into glucose and fructose. Then the second step, zymase, the another enzyme zymase, which acts upon glucose and fructose to convert into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Ethanol and carbon dioxide. Glucose and fructose formula C6H12O6. Now zymase is act upon this glucose and fructose. Now 2 moles of ethanol with 2 moles of carbon dioxide is obtained. 2 moles of ethanol and 2 moles of carbon dioxide is obtained. So these are the two reaction take place during the fermentation of sugar molasses in the fermentation tank. Now see, the fermented liquid is technically called wash. So the ethanol, the alcohol obtained in this process is called wash. It is called wash because it contains only less percentage of alcohol. The alcohol content is very less. So it is called wash. Next see, distillation of wash. The fermented liquid, that is wash, containing only 15 to 18% of alcohol, is now subjected to fractional distillation. Now we have to increase the percentage of alcohol from 15 to 18 to 100%. There are two steps are involved in the conversion of wash into absolute alcohol. Wash into absolute alcohol. So the fermented liquid, that is wash, contain only 15 to 80% of alcohol. Next, fractional distillation method is applied. So the main fraction drawn in an aqueous solution of ethanol, which contain 95.5% ethanol and 4.5% water. This is called a rectified spirit. So the wash is subjected to fractional distillation. Fractional distillation. So in the fractional distillation process, rectified spirit is obtained. Rectified spirit, what is the composition of rectified spirit? Ethanol and water. Ethanol is 95.5% and water content is 4.5%. So this product is obtained in the fractional distillation process. Then still 4.5% of water is in the rectified spirit, that is going to be removed by the reflex over quicklime for about 5 to 6 hours and then allowed to stand for 12 hours. So second step, reflex over quicklime calcium oxide for about 5 to 6 hours. So the calcium oxide which is going to absorb the moisture present in the rectified spirit. The quicklime absorb the moisture, that is 4.5% of water content is going to be collected, absorbed by the quicklime. So 5 to 6 hours it is reflexed, then allowed to stand for 12 hours because of this action and continuous distillation. Next, see continuous distillation of this reflexed mixture. Pure alcohol, 100% pure alcohol obtained. This is called absolute alcohol. So in the conversion of wash into 100% alcohol, three processes are involved. First, fractional distillation. Fractional distillation convert wash into rectified spirit. And second one, reflux over quicklime for about 5 to 6 hours and stand for 12 hours. Third step, distillation of this mixture. Distillation and heating and then converting into liquid. Distillation of this mixture, pure alcohol, 100% alcohol is obtained. This pure alcohol is called absolute alcohol. Absolute alcohol. So my dear student, you have to revise all this very important one. First you should know what is the formula, structural formula, and what is called fermentation, what is called sugar molasses, what is the sucrose content of sugar molasses, then what is dilution, converting 30% into 8 to 10% by the addition of water, then addition of nitrogen sources. Naturally nitrogen matter is there, but it is not sufficient. Artificially it is fortified by the addition of ammonium sulfate or ammonium phosphate. Then this solution is taken in the fermentation tank and yeast is added. Temperature is maintained for 303 Kelvin. During this period only, inverter is stacked upon sugar molasses and convert into glucose and fructose. The zymase act upon glucose or fructose, convert into ethanol and carbon dioxide. And in this step, wash is obtained. The wash means the ethanol obtained is called wash because it contains only very less percent, 15 to 18% of alcohol. Then the distillation of wash. The wash is subjected to fractional distillation. In this process, rectified spirit is obtained, which contain 95.5% of ethanol and 4.5% of water. Then next one, reflux over quicklime for 5 to 6 hours and maintain for and stand for 12 hours. Then distillation. The distillation only give 100% pure alcohol, that is called absolute alcohol. Also, you should know what is called yeast, single-celled organism. Then fermentation, conversion of complex molecule into simpler molecule. So very important detail, my dear student. Revise thoroughly, write and practice. Write and practice. You have to read and write and practice, and then only you will get the knowledge of manufacture of ethanol from sugar molasses, and complete your classwork. Complete your classwork. Don't waste the time. Thank you. God bless you.